Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Wednesday news show. On today's show, we've got a bit of a special looking at a recent article that has come out of the New York Times. On the 31st of May 2024, an article was released by New York Times called "For Female Climbers, Dangers Go Beyond Avalanches and Storms." The story sets out to describe a problem of sexual harassment and abuse within the world of climbing and mountaineering, with particular focus on recent complaints that have come in the public sphere against the now well-known climber and mountaineer Nirmal Purja. Purja came into the public eye after his challenge to climb all 7,000-meter peaks in the world in 6 months and 6 days was made into a Netflix series. Lotte Hintsa, a Finnish mountaineer, and Dr. April Leonardo, a physician from California, both claimed to have been sexually abused by Nirmal Purja, the former whilst in a hotel in Kathmandu, whereas Dr. April Leonardo claims her abuse took place whilst on an expedition to summit K2 with Purja. Both women's accusations are based around Purja taking advantage of them whilst being in a position of authority. With Ms. Hintsa, it was as a potential employer, as they were meeting up about working on an expedition together, and with Dr. Leonardo, Purja was her guide taking her up K2. At this moment, Purja has declined to be interviewed by the New York Times, and in a written statement issued by his lawyer, it is said that Purja unequivocally denies the allegations of wrongdoing. These allegations are false and defamatory. The question of sexual harassment and sexual abuse when climbing has been brought up several times over the past 7 years since the Me Too movement was brought to light in the aftermath of the New York Times article about Hollywood film producer Harvey Weinstein. In a survey in 2018 made by Safe Outside, where over 5,000 climbers were surveyed, results showed that 16% of men and 47% of women have experienced specific types of sexual harassment and sexual abuse whilst climbing and whilst being in climbing spaces. Other high-profile cases that have come to light of abuse in previous years include the Yosemite climber Charles Barrett, who just yesterday has been sentenced to life in prison for 2 counts of aggravated sexual abuse and 1 count of abusive sexual contact. And in 2022, Alexander Fritz, a US youth coach, was sentenced to 5 years in a state prison after pleading guilty to 4 counts of the rape of a child. With the climbing and mountaineering industries now reacting strongly to these accusations in support of the women who have spoken out about the issue, 2024 increasingly feels like a watershed moment within the climbing and mountaineering industries, particularly the latter, with this story seeing the first cases of such high-profile complaints of sexual abuse and harassment within high mountain spaces. It remains to be seen what happens with the accusations against Purja, but it is clear that the sport that encourages complete trust in your climbing partner or mountain guide in pushing boundaries both physically and mentally has not been able to properly maintain or give proper guidelines to the societal boundaries that come with this unwritten understanding. And in a sport traditionally dominated by men and helped by the brave testimony of those that have dared to speak out, we are beginning to see that the climbing and mountaineering world has a lot to do in order to repair the damage done and move forwards in a way that understands and respects a new generation of climbers and mountaineers. All in all, it's a very difficult subject to broach. If you want to get a good understanding of what the current situation is, read the articles in the description that I have linked to. And if there are any more that you have read, and if there's any other things that you would like to highlight, let me know in the comments. I would also say it's really important to have a very good understanding of every gym and every climbing space that you go to. Try to get the best understanding possible of the policies and the authorities that you need to deal with if there is a case of sexual harassment or sexual abuse. Speak to the people that work in those places, speak to the people that work in those gyms, and if and when it does happen, you will have less barriers in between you and making that actual complaint. You'll be able to have a good understanding of what to do and how to react in a situation, whether it's for you or for a friend. Right, next up, we are going to do a bit of a roundup of what's been happening in the world of climbing. UK climber Aidan Roberts has finally put a grade to his recent ascent of Spots of Time in the Lake District, saying on his Instagram page, "I will however propose the grade of 9A, feeling that it compares in difficulty to others which I have tried and harder than the confusing blurry pot of AC+ lines I've sampled." Aidan spent over 30 sessions to climb the route and has previously climbed 4 AC+s and 1 confirmed 9A in Alphane. 8a.nu reports that Irish climber David Fitzgerald has repeated Sean Rabitu's Big Z, 8C Plus in Tahoe. After projecting it for some 25 sessions, this is his first 8C Plus, after having climbed 3 8Cs. 8a.nu also reports that James Webb has completed 2 Giuliano Cameroni first ascents in Val Bavona, Solar Plexus and Eye in the Sky, both 8C. German climber Vroni Gana, who has previously completed 15 boulders of 8A or 8A Plus, has done El Guajara 8A in Zillital. It took her 2 sessions. Okay, that is the climbing roundup done. Here's the 9B counter. No changes to the 9B counter. We are 9B counter free this week. Let me know if you know anything else. Okay, next up we've got shop stuff, and in the Epic TV shop this week we have a massive restock of La Sportiva shoes. So if you have been waiting to update your La Sportiva collection, fear not, we've got a whole bunch of shoes in the warehouse, just come in, La Sportiva, waiting for you to go and pick them up. So predominantly we're looking at La Sportiva katanas, we're looking at squamas, lots of squamas come back in, TC Pros, and then lots of others as well. So go and have a look, see if your favorites are there, and if they are, then get involved. Next up, comment of the week. I'll do a little song. Comment of the week. The comment of the week this week is from Rennie Disc, who says, actually Alex is probably using the rope because he doesn't want to fall off and miss commentating for the Olympics with Matt. If the Olympics are going to invest any money within climbing in terms of commentating, they should definitely get Alex Honnold to do it. Last time was one of the most enjoyable experiences of IFSC commentating I have ever heard.
Oh, gross. I hope her shoulders are okay. That looked injurious. Oh, still happy. Yeah, no, she loves ripping both her shoulders out of sockets. It's what they do for training in Japan, I think.
Fantastic in my opinion. And this also refers to the fact that Alex did a rope solo project from last week's news. He did it previously, which is, slightly different from his previous kind of free solos. As a lot of you pointed out, Alex Honnold does not just free solo, he climbs with ropes, and he's done plenty of stuff with ropes as well. But it's just quite interesting to see, instead of a free solo, he's going rope solo, which is very, very different and takes a lot of a bit of a different mindset, I would imagine. I say I would imagine. I don't do much free soloing, and I don't know much rope soloing either. But I know the ins and outs of it and how it kind of works. And rope soloing is, a quite laborious, precise rope work that you need to do. But I imagine Alex would have it down. Anyway, that is it. Look forward to seeing your guys' comments. Hope you have a great weekend and a great week, and we'll see you hopefully with one of the other guys next week.